Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about form elements in HTML. So first we're going to be going straight to the boilerplate. So if I write exclamation and doc type HTML, you can see I got all the boilerplate generated. This is going to make me run my file. So if I go open folder and see what this folder is, basically it's in this one. So I'll just select this one. And it would take me to that exact folder, which is code.html. Okay, so now let's run this file and make sure that's appearing in the browser. So you see reveal in File Explorer. So you're gonna open this up, double click it here, and you could see how it works and how it looks like. Pretty much nothing in the beginning, but you can see over here the document title is up here. I'll just put in a put in a sample file, and then we could go forward. So now what we want to do is we want to create some input tags. And what I could do is you could first of all check the form tag. So the form tag is like this, and you close the form tag. Within the form tag, I'm going to put in an attribute which is called action. And this is normally what should be triggered later when I create a backend or something. So where this form is going to be rendered in. So I've just put a backend.php. It does not exist right now. We'll talk about PHP later in the series. But we could have anything, like even a JavaScript or anything file. And that's where the form should trigger. After that, we're going to create a label. So we're going to say label, and inside the label we put a for, and we put that as name, and we write name like that. So that's our label tag. And we inside after the label we put a div tag, so like a div like this. And for the div we have the input tag, and that would be a type, and we could have a name. Okay, or sorry, so input tag would have a type with text, name would be my name, and then we'd have the ID as name. Okay, so after that, if we go and see this in action, right now you can see that the input tag does not have like a closing tag, so you could just self-close it like this. It does not really matter. Now, if you open up the thing where it appears, refresh the page, you can see that there's a placeholder, and you could write your name in here. So let's suppose we write coding cleverly. Okay, but we want more extra things. So let's go back here. And what I normally like doing is I would like putting the browser on the right, and the terminal on the left. So you'd see basically the code, not terminal, but the editor here, and the browser results over here. And then there's like an extension, live server, which automatically gives updates. But that's for a later part. So after that, we have a BR tag, what we could add right after the div closing tag. So right after this one. Remember, this is for breaking. So after that, what we could do is we could add a div. So I would have a div, and within the div would have role. Okay. So suppose if I just write role like this, it still would appear. Refresh. You could see a role over here. And inside here we could put in, that's just raw text. Okay, it's not within a tag or anything. So we'll put type, and would have text again. And then name would be my role, and we'll just close that input tag like this. Okay, refresh it. So you could put a role here. Again, you could put a name. So name is over here. You could put a colon here, just so that it remains consistent, right? The format should. Again, you could put the label in that for the role, but I'm just giving examples here. If I go to break tag, BR tag, so this is kind of like we have div, so, and then we have email, and then we have the input tag, type, and this one is email, so we'd have email right here. And then we could write a name, and then we could set it as my date, okay? My email, sorry. And that's essentially it for this one. So close it like that. And what I want to show you is that this would provide email validation. So if you make something like this, it won't accept it but when you put in a proper email, it would validate according to the form later on. Um, After that, we have another BR tag. It's just breaking lines. So again, a BR tag. You could put a self-closing, or it's optional, but you know, you could do it. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now we have another div tag. Within this div tag, we write, "Are you eligible?" And then we'd have the input tag, and we'd have the type, and we'd have a checkbox, and then we'd have the name as my eligibility, and then we have closing tag. Okay, and then we'd have the if you could check this. So are you eligible? You could see over here there are tags over here. You could actually put an attribute which is called checked. If I write this, it's already going to be checked by default. Okay, and if I leave it, it should not be checked. Okay, and then it's clickable. Other than that, we have you know um, radio, basically radio buttons. If I want to show you something related to radio buttons, so if I write BR, and then I would prefer something like gender, sorry, div, and then within div would have gender. Okay, and then within the gender I would put like male, and then I would put an input tag type radio. Okay, and name would be my gender. Okay, uh, and if you look at this, and then we'd have another one which is female. Now I remember one comment where they said you should add a border wrap, and I will do it right now because the text is going far. So we'd have a type radio, and then would have name, and that would be my gender, and then would have close it, and then refresh, and then you could see over here you could have another one, but yeah. So now over here we'd have this file, and then we'd have view, and then word wrap. This would make it much more readable on the screen. So now you could see over here, you only would be able to select one out of the other, right? After this div is closed, we could have another one, which is the so the BR tag, break tag, and we have another one which is div, and inside this div we'd have write about yourself, and we could have a break tag here, and then in here would have text area, name is equal to my text, and then would have calls this is the columns would put as 90 the default, and rows would put as 10. If you check this out, so yeah, so we need a closing tag for this, so we'd have like this, like that. So if you look at this, it's at a text box, so this you could allow to the person to write about themselves. Text area button is closed. Then we have another break. So again, I want to mention this is not like the best and cleanest way to write HTML, but this is just good for beginners. So I would recommend checking this thing out. And yeah, input type, and would have input type, um, as submit, and would have value as submit now. Okay, and let's close it. So if you look at this, we have a submit now button, and this is the entire form so far. Pretty cool and pretty interesting. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one.